Picture this. It's July 4th, 1776. Fireworks didn't yet exist, but muskets fired in celebration. In Philadelphia, the Founding Fathers gather to sign a document that will shake the world, the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. But outside the room, over 500,000 people are in chains. They will not celebrate freedom that day. For them, July 4th meant nothing. Or worse, it meant continued slavery, silence, and suffering. Because Independence Day wasn't independence for everyone. The Declaration of Independence is celebrated as a masterpiece of freedom. Jefferson's pen scrawled ideas that would inspire generations. But the irony? Jefferson himself owned more than 600 enslaved people. As he wrote about liberty and justice, human beings toiled at Monticello, without rights, without pay, without hope. One of them was Sally Hemings, a teenage girl, an enslaved girl, and the mother of his children. The truth is, slavery wasn't just a Southern issue. It was America's economic engine. By 1776, nearly 20% of the population was enslaved. In some colonies, like South Carolina, black slaves outnumbered whites 2-1. July 4th didn't promise freedom to them. It promised their masters a chance to secure their property. Yes, human beings were legally considered property. Ironically, the British offered freedom to enslaved men who joined their side. Lord Dunmore, the British governor of Virginia, promised liberty to any slave who escaped their rebel masters. Thousands took the offer. Many died. Some gained freedom. But few returned to the plantations that had branded them. So whose side was liberty really on? While white colonists fought for freedom from Britain, they also plotted to expand westward, directly into lands belonging to indigenous nations. The Declaration's final grievance against King George? He has excited domestic insurrections and endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages. That line calls Native Americans savages. While colonists cried for liberty, they were already mapping plans to seize tribal lands. Over the next 100 years, Native Americans would be pushed from their lands in wave after wave of forced migration. The American Revolution didn't slow colonization, it accelerated it. July 4th became the beginning of a new empire, not just a free country. Women played critical roles in the revolution, spying, organizing, feeding, sewing flags, even fighting disguised as men. But what did independence offer them? No right to vote, no right to own property after marriage, no legal identity apart from their husbands. The law treated them as dependents, like children. Yet they were expected to raise the citizens of a new republic. The irony? Freedom was birthed by people who weren't free. In 1776, Abigail Adams wrote to her husband John, "Remember the ladies. If particular care and attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to foment a rebellion." John didn't listen, and it would take over 140 years before women got the right to vote. Let's not forget, even most white men couldn't vote unless they owned property. So, the revolution was never about equality for all. It was about a specific class of men gaining freedom from a king, while keeping power in their own hands. In 1852, former slave and abolitionist Frederick Douglass gave a speech titled, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July?" He asked, "Are the great principles of political freedom and natural justice extended to us?" He called July 4th a sham, a celebration of freedom in a nation that still enslaved millions. The speech stunned audiences, and it still echoes today. The American Revolution did not end slavery. it entrenched it. Southern colonies only supported the war after they were assured slavery wouldn't be touched. So July 4th became a symbol, but one built on compromise, hypocrisy, and exclusion. While white colonists rang bells and read declarations, enslaved people were sold at auctions. Native Americans were pushed from their lands. Women returned to legal invisibility. July 4th, for many, marked not freedom, but the beginning of more loss. What if the Declaration of Independence read, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all white, male, land-owning men are created equal." Because that's what it meant in practice. The rest had to fight for centuries to be included in that promise. Real freedom came slowly. 1865, slavery abolished. 1920, women got the vote. 1924, Native Americans granted U.S. citizenship. 1965, Voting Rights Act ends Jim Crow suppression. So what began in 1776 was only the beginning. Does that mean we shouldn't celebrate? Number. But we must tell the whole story, because fireworks without truth are just noise.
True patriotism is not blind celebration. It's courage to confront the past and work toward justice. For every founding father, there were thousands of unnamed mothers, soldiers, slaves, and citizens who built this country. Their voices matter, their pain matters, and their exclusion is the real story of America's independence. If this story challenged what you thought about July 4th, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who only learned the good version of history. Tell us in the comments, what does freedom mean to you today? Because history isn't finished, we're still writing it.